All right, I've got a connection over here.
Waiting for.
Let me know when that says go.
Waiting for. Oh, we're moving.
We are
spinning.
possibly live.
Live. There you are.
Hello, foreigners.
You look so tiny.
It's another week, and it's another live transmission all the way from Luzhou, Sichuan, China.
We have to get you a taller chair.
Yeah. But who am I who deserves a taller chair? I am Emily, and I'm here with Peter.
Also in a small chair.
And we are Hello Uncle Foreigner. It's all true.
In the land of small chairs.
In the land of small chairs. China really is a land of small chairs. Mm-hmm. It's true. Mm-hmm. Well, we've got a good show for you tonight.
Do we?
A good show for you tonight. Lots of jokes, lots of stories. Some returning segments from last week. What do you think? Are we ready to hit the
I got a spin, so we're in full spin.
Okay. I'm gonna hit our opening.
Hit it.
Welcome foreigners.
Welcome.
Welcome foreigners. This is Hello Uncle Foreigner, coming to you live from Luzhou, Sichuan, China. On a Saturday night, here it is. I don't know what time it is where you are. Foreigner. But where we are, it's nighttime. I am Emily, like I said, and I'm here with Peter, the other half of Hello Uncle Foreigner. Say hello.
Jukebox Hero.
Jukebox Hero. So let's take it away. This week we brought you Peanut Butter Taste Test, which was not as popular as the previous week's offerings. Countryside and Taobao did unusually well for us. Peanut butter was kind of back to our regular rate of change. It's a little weird. It's a little more obvious to say, I want to see the Chinese countryside, rather than I want to see Emily eat some peanut butter. So
it's good peanut butter though. It's almost gone.
It's to be expected, but yeah, you are missing out. It was good peanut butter, and
I'll fold it right up.
We finished more than half of it this week. I guess I can take you behind the scenes of filming that one.
Behind the peanut butter?
Behind the peanut butter. I said a couple weeks ago, we kind of have a time crunch this month because I'm working at a summer camp, which is almost a real full-time job.
Oh wait, this just in. China nonstop. New videos come up. Recycle waste equals lie.
Huh.
Up-to-date information.
Thanks for interrupting me. So anyway, we're trying to experiment this month with videos that have kind of a lower time commitment to make, that are a little less production heavy, a little less writing heavy. Peanut butter, I wrote an outline, but I didn't actually write a script, which I don't always love flying blind, but
went pretty well though.
I think it went well. The circumstances demanded it.
You surfed it.
And I rose to the challenge, I'll say. The setup, though, did took all day, all afternoon to set up our living room. And then I forgot to pay the electric bill.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you about how our electricity works.
It's fun.
Because it's very exciting. Utilities around the world are excruciatingly fun. But in China, in Luzhou, the way we pay our electricity is we actually prepay. We have a little card, and we put money on the card and load that up into our meter and pay for what we think we're going to use. And in the last year, I have set up an app that I can just pay online. We used to have to go first to the grocery store, and then the grocery store stopped doing it. And then there was a pharmacy that said they would do it, but really every time I ever went in there, they were like, oh, we're not doing it today. And then there was another small grocery store that was more reliable, but at the end of the week, I guess as a reseller of electricity, you buy a certain amount from the government and then you can sell that. And they are always like Sunday night, they're always out.
Do you think they sell it to somebody else? Like
What do you?
The last person in, they're like, here, have an extra couple electricity.
No, I don't think they. I think they just sell it till they're done. Because I have been in there and like I'll say like, oh, I want to buy 300 kwai worth of electricity, and they'll say we only have 200 kwai left, so I'll buy the last 200 kwai. But anyway, it's kind of a pain in the butt to remember that you need to like periodically re-up your electricity. But now I have this app so I can pay online, and it sends alerts to my phone when we're down to like our last 40 kwai, which it did send me that alert, and I thought, okay, I'll pay it later tonight. But we were using electricity at a higher rate than normal.
We took everything. We turned everything on.
We had all 3 air conditioners running because it's been super hot. So.
And we were in full production mode.
And so, really, right before we were ready to go, the power went out. Which I think it's better that it happened before we started. It would have been like more disruptive if it had happened in the middle. But so, because the power was out, our Wi-Fi was out, and because I bought my iPad in China, whatever version it was, doesn't have a cellular connection, so I had no way of paying online. So I had to go out. First, I did go to that pharmacy. Now they don't do electricity at all. I guess they realized they were like
useless,
fooling everybody. Yeah, useless. And I went to the bodega, but they were like, oh, if you come back tomorrow, we'll have some, but we're out now. And I'm like, I need it now. So I went down to the main electricity place in 𝗣𝘂𝗶𝗴, where they have 24-hour ATM style re-ups. But it took a big chunk out of the afternoon to go get that done. So by the time, it took like 2 hours, I think, to get the electricity back on. So now I know in the summertime, with the AC running, if you get the text message, pay right away. But so yeah, we got production back on track, but we lost a couple hours because I had to go deal with the electricity, that's what happens in China.
When it's hot?
When it's hot. When it's cold too. I forgot to pay it when it's cold too. Not very good at bills. But, so that's what happened behind the scenes of Peanut Butter. Fortunately, my performance was unflapped.
No flap.
I am unflappable. So there. And we
Still eating the celery.
Yeah, well, just for today. The celery is got floppy. I left it in the fridge too long. It got floppy.
You didn't pay your celery bill?
I paid dearly for that celery. Dearly. But so anyway, that's our video this week. We're experimenting. If you follow us on any of our social media, we're on Tumblr, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
SoundCloud.
SoundCloud? Oh, that's right, SoundCloud. But we're not doing this on SoundCloud. You may notice, or follow us, and you will notice, we are
Follow us.
putting out lots of extra little promo pieces, maybe extra footage or funny gifs or
whatever we can find.
Barely related videos, just to remind you, hey, come watch us. We made a video. Come watch it.
We're all the way over here.
We're all the way over here. We've got peanut butter. We'll eat it, and you can watch. So that was our behind the scenes this week. We had a shoot today for next week, which was very exciting. It went very well. We're very excited, but I don't want to give too much away.
Just that it's got steamy content.
It's sizzling. We have a rejected idea. Since I joined the gym in May, I've been taking little video diaries to see if anything comes of that. And this week we decided nothing has come of that. Nothing yet. I mean, it's all me just complaining that going to the gym is either boring or hard or both. I really don't like exercising. Maybe you can tell. But there is a story that's going to come out of that, but it needs a little more loving care than just filming my sweaty face after a workout. So that'll probably come sometime in the fall. But for now, Gym Diaries has been rejected. This is what I mean.
The Gym Diaries.
Rejectories. Yeah. Rejectories.
Until we repackage it entitled Results.
Yeah, one day. Just one day I'll pop up and I'll be all muscles.
But until then, we're just going to eat peanut butter.
Every day. Every day. How'd this week go for you, Peter?
Pretty stressful up until the peanut butter. And we got that out.
Yeah, Peter was editing.
A lot of editing.
A lot. He had a long edit. Peanut butter was... I was running around getting all this extra footage, but that kind of was like on my time. On my walk home, I could catch the street vendors, or when I went to the grocery store. You know, I kind of grabbed footage when I was already in a place. So my part of the video was pretty easy, but Peter had to kind of scramble to put it all together.
Yeah, once you gather all the stuff together, then we gotta put it into a puzzle.
Yeah.
And it's all sky pieces until then.
I should get another puzzle, I think. I do like jigsaw puzzles. I bought myself one for my birthday. It was a very exciting birthday. I mean, that was in January, so...
Maybe you could ask our friend on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. I posted an Instagram picture of my completed puzzle, and then puzzle manufacturers started following us. So I followed them back because I like puzzles. If you're a puzzle manufacturer, follow our Instagram.
And send puzzles.
Yeah, we're Uncle_foreigner. Oh yeah, mail us some puzzles to the whoopwu Studios.
Yeah, you'll put them together.
Care of China. I'll put them together. I'll put all of the puzzles together.
Fully endorsed by puzzles.
I endorse puzzles. No puzzle has endorsement opportunity. Mm-hmm. No puzzle has endorsed Uncle Foreigner yet. It could be you. You could be the first.
Be the first puzzle.
I'll wear your puzzle in all of my videos.
Puzzle shirt would be neat.
It'd be kind of sweaty.
Depends on what it was made out of.
Yeah.
You could have cooling pieces.
Well, I mean, a shirt, if you know how to sew.
You know how to wear a shirt.
It's just some pieces put together. I don't want to. Yeah, but I don't want to sew a shirt. That's not what I'm about.
Build a shirt.
Build a shirt. Maybe if it came with like Velcro snaps or snaps and Velcro or something.
For quick escapes.
Yeah.
On hot days.
I made boxer shorts in home ec. Was it called home ec? I think it was called home ec still. In 8th grade.
Is there a different name for it now?
It's just called home engineering or something. I forget. There's like a different name.
That's very masculine.
Well, because it is like boys should learn how to take care of their house too.
Yeah. Build your own pants.
Yeah. So everybody, boys and girls had to take that and shop class, which was fine. I liked shop class. I liked home ec, okay. But I sewed, I mean, we had sewing machines and we did a unit on sewing, so I sewed boxer shorts then. But the only other item of clothing I ever made for myself was a duct tape dress, which was made of duct tape and staples. It was awesome.
That sounds sweaty.
It was sweaty, but I wore it at SantaCon. Sorry, I'm a reformed SantaCon participant. So it was fine that it was so sweaty and hot.
SweatyCon.
Yeah. SantaCon is pretty sweaty, I think. And my friend was supposed to make a duct tape suit, but he didn't. But, I mean, show up in a duct tape dress, people think that's pretty cool. People are wowed.
That's everyone's homework for this week.
Yeah, make a duct tape dress, upload it to your Instagram, and tweet at us?
Upload it to ours. Send it to us, we'll upload it.
Nah, I don't want to upload other people's photos. I feel like I might be wrong about this, but I feel like there is an implicit understanding that the photos in your Instagram are photos that you've taken, which we've had a couple accounts. They're travel accounts, and if you look in their bio, it says like all copyrights respective to their owners, which is like, oh, you're just stealing other people's pretty travel photographs. It's one thing, I don't know, it's one thing if you
have a wish list then. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know this garbage about just like stealing someone's stuff and saying copyright does not belong to me.
We should do that.
That's not the thing that doesn't belong to you, though. The piece of art you stole is what doesn't belong to you.
Why don't we try that with like breakfasts? We'll steal other people's breakfasts.
Yeah, copyright to this guy.
Hello, Uncle Foreigner's favorite breakfast.
I do like breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Although
they could all be yours.
They could all be mine. Chinese breakfast.
Eggs.
Is tough.
And beaks.
Well, I mean, it like spicy noodles.
Spicy beaks.
Spicy beaks. It's good, but it's not what I want for breakfast. We do like the youtiao though, which are those like cruller things. Mm-hmm. And you have that with a little doujiang, which is sugary soy milk. It's really good. But I'm a big fan of cereal, actually. I just want cereal.
Yogurt's very popular.
Well, I'm not talking about what's popular. I'm talking about what I like.
I'm talking about popular.
I don't like yogurt that much.
Just like you don't like babies.
No, I like babies. I'll lose my job. The babies like yogurt. The babies usually have quail's egg for breakfast. They have that a lot. Sometimes they'll have a chicken egg, but they'll have hard-boiled quail's eggs.
Because they're so small?
Because they're so small. Yeah, when they have the chicken egg, the food teacher helper cuts them in half. And like gives each kid half and half.
Half an egg.
Yeah. And they can have more if they want it, but they're only expected really to eat half an egg.
So you get an egg brother.
Yeah. This one's mine. That one's for you. But yeah, they eat really well. We talked about that last week. Though.
Mm-hmm.
Babies eating. How was my week? My week was busy. I was less exhausted, which that always happens after school starts or a new schedule starts. The first week is always really tiring, and the second week is less so.
And once you start getting revved up, then it's almost over.
Then that'll be done. That's the beauty of summer camp. I mean, I did go to bed at 9:45 on Thursday, so I'm still tired. I'm exhausted right now, and it's only Saturday.
And the heat doesn't help.
The heat doesn't help. And I ran
so far away.
4 kilometers, I think, on the treadmill. But I did intervals, which were killer. Intervals with incline.
Immaculately.
Not immaculately. Not immaculately. But I did it. I wanted to not do it, but I finished it. And that's how I feel about the gym.
Goals.
But that's why we're saving that story till I have more to say about it. Nothing else really significant happened.
Left the house today.
Peter left the house today, and tell them about your walking.
I walked.
Peter has been in a wheelchair, for those of you who don't know, since
I lost count.
November, I think, is when I bought it for you.
A lifetime.
And the past couple months, it has been a long time, it feels like. The past couple weeks and months, he's been shuffling around the house a little bit. But today, you walk in the Uncle Shorts opening, but that was...
Yeah.
You haven't really walked outside.
I don't get outside. I can't.
Yeah.
I walk inside.
Yeah, Peter walks inside, but today he walked outside in our...
Pagoda.
Yeah, we have a little pagoda in the middle of our housing complex that's
whoopwu grounds
set inside a pond, and then the pond has stone steps that are unconnected, so there's like a little bit of water feature danger. But he did
died.
Yeah. You did not nearly die today.
Exciting.
It was exciting. I was proud. I'm proud of you.
Everything in China is dangerous, precariously placed.
Yeah, it's not.
We live on the tip of a needle.
It's a place that's set up to maybe make you disabled. It's not an easy place to.
Even the disabled ramps are dangerous.
Yeah, our ramps are all. They're not at a good. What's that called?
Inclination.
X over Y. Whatever that is. It's not at a good angle. They're too steep. That's what it is. They're too steep.
Our math ain't good.
Our math ain't good. Neither is our English. Yeah, and curb cuts don't always line up with the road, or sometimes they're completely blocked off because if they weren't, cars would drive up on the sidewalk.
But we had a couple of fine young gentlemen.
Oh yeah, this was so sweet because I could tell they were looking at us and talking and like practicing. And then it turned out what they were practicing was one of them came over and in English was like, "Can I help you?" And the pagoda is a little bit downhill from our apartment, so.
A little bit.
Yeah, that one's steep too.
It's well down the hill.
It's well down the hill. And my initial inclination is to always say no when people are like, "Do you need help?" "No, I got it." But then I was like, you know what? I don't have to push this all by myself. Yeah, I would love the help. So he helped push us up the hill. Which was really sweet.
Neighbors.
Yeah, people are really neighborly in our little complex. In the city, too. I mean, I know that sometimes it's just because we're white and people want to, like, make a good impression on the foreigner. When Peter was in the hospital, we talked to one of his, I think it was one of the physical therapy kids, who was saying he's from a small village outside of Luzhou. And he asked us what we thought of Luzhou, and I said something about like, oh, the people are so friendly and so nice. And he's like, you think the people here are friendly? And I thought about it, and like, village kid probably has a much different experience from celebrity Wyvern living in Luzhou.
Well, the city difference. I mean, Luzhou is seen as a small city, but I mean, I've lived in. It's much bigger than New Haven.
Yeah, I mean, the city itself, I think, is...
It's a big city, but not for a country person. I mean, for a country person.
For a country person. Yeah, and I think there is prejudice against... Bumpkins. I mean, the same way there is, I think, in any country.
Yeah.
The city people look down on the country folk. And then the country folk elect a racist president.
And then we go to a bigger city, and people think that us city folk are the bumpkins,
Oh yeah, yeah. Luzhou is not a cool city to be from in the context of China. But
we're a flyover state.
Yeah, we're definitely a flyover state.
The planes barely land, actually.
The planes fly on to Europe from over us. But yeah, so that was the week. Working, walking.
Week and walking.
I get out of work. I mean, at the same time as all the students, when the parents come pick up the kids, and I can also leave and go home. But we're a neighborhood school. It's a private school, but most of our students are from the neighborhood. So while I'm walking home, all the kids are walking home, so they see me walking. And there's sometimes two or three kids who always walk home together that sometimes I do cross the street to not walk with them. I like them very much. They're very cool kids, but sometimes I'm like, I'm kidded out right now.
After a whole day?
Yeah. But so Amy and Gus, and then sometimes Maya, they'll walk home with me and they'll practice their English with me. How
many Gus's do you know?
Just the one. I mean, my uncle also.
That's two Gus's on two sides of the earth.
Two Gus's, yeah.
It's a double Gus.
A double Gus. Uncle Gus, if you're watching.
Double Gus?
Double Gus. But so we're all walking together, and the kids are asking me. They're actually in the other English teacher's class for camp, but I had them during the school year, so they know me too. So they had learned or questions. Do you like cats or dogs? Do you like blah 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 or blah blah blah? You know how or questions work. You speak English. So they're all jumping around and being excited, and actually the gym is on the way home from school, and the gym people, just like I think in every country that has gyms, they have to hand out flyers to try to get new people in. And so he's standing out front trying to hand out flyers, and then he sees these kids hopping and bopping around me, all yelling in English, and he just did a double take, like, what? And then it was cool. He had a funny look on his face. But one of the questions they asked was Spider-Man or Iron Man. And the answer, I think I said Spider-Man, but I was wrong. The answer is Iron Man because teacher Matthew has taught them. Dun, 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 dun. And so they all started singing that just there on the sidewalk in Luzhou, these 6-year-old kids singing the riff from Iron Man to me. It was a great moment. I put it up on our social media. I had to take a video, of course. So if you missed it, I don't know if there's a way to go back and see it, but it's there.
Post it somewhere else. We'll find a place.
Yeah. We'll use that everywhere.
Over and over until Ozzy himself comes after us.
Yeah, I'll just loop 10 hours of Iron Man. That's a YouTube-y thing to do,
yeah,
I think.
That's how you get noticed.
Yeah.
Just be irritating. Speaking of which, subscribe.
I was going to say that's a good segue into the vomit report.
Ooh.
And no vomit this week. A little bit of free pee.
Free pee.
Yeah.
Free pee in the bean.
My kids are young, so
stuff falls out of them.
Toilet training is new, and sometimes they're like, "I gotta go," and they mean right this second. So that happened, but that's my assistants. I thank you so much because that's their job to deal with. I don't really have to do with the free pee. I had another vomit report.
Without vomit?
Free vomit report.
Dry heat news?
The dry heat news. Can you see the back over here? Or maybe it's over here? The back of the whiteboard.
Oh, yeah.
Does it say vomit report?
Local news. Soul, sound off. Crop. This is not fascinating now.
No, I should have written it somewhere where I could have read it, but
There's a lot of stuff back here.
I know, but there's no vomit report, right?
I don't see any vomit.
I think that was really it. That bodily fluids included pee. And that concludes the vomit report. Now on to local news. I got an email from a blog reader that earlier this week anyway, that Chengdu was having some flooding issues, which is not cool. Luzhou very rarely floods. We're in a peninsula between two rivers, and
it floods.
And the peninsula is like very high ground, and I guess that's how land works. That's how land next to water works. But we had a huge flood our first summer here, but no flooding this year so far.
Fingers crossed.
But our blog reader, he came to us by way of a pretty old post, also from our first year. After I lost my passport, we had to go back and forth to Chengdu a few times. And while we were there, we visited some music stores. And because we had done a lot of online research at the time, and we hadn't found a lot of information about it, and walking all around the city, we found out a lot about the Chengdu music stores. So I wrote a post about it, and that post...
Musical equipment.
Yeah, musical equipment, guitars, other musical instruments. You know what musical instruments are. So anyway, the information wasn't out there, so I thought I needed to put the information out there. And it really has, like, people over the years have found that entry, and it's 6 years old now, but
we're still doing good.
Even as of this week, I guess we're still the expert in English on where to buy guitar strings in Chengdu, not in Sichuan, just in Chengdu. Which is it's cool. It's cool to be the expert. Although I'm talking up this post a lot. It's not like it's just like. Here are the stores.
It'll change your life.
Yeah, they're not great stores. There's a couple good ones. There's a couple good ones.
I buy stuff.
You saw some knockoffs that you'd like.
Even some real stuff. They had a giant sculpture in the courtyard of Paul Gilbert's 𝗖𝗵cie guitar.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I do remember that.
A shrine to 𝗖𝗵cie.
Which is just such a random...
Paul Gilbert.
Yeah.
Who? Mr. Big?
I don't think...
Of Mr. Big fame?
Oh, that's who that is.
Yeah.
And he's also the enemies in jail?
That guy, yeah.
Find my enemies and put them all in jail. That's a fun video. Maybe we'll link to that in the description of this episode. But yeah... Paul Gilbert is loved in Chengdu.
It's like a two-story sculpture.
It's not a great-looking sculpture,
no.
As I recall. But
you're just crapping on everything tonight.
It's a big one. It's a big sculpture. Good job. It's a big sculpture. So that's local news. There are floods in a different city.
Semi-local.
Earlier in the week.
4 hours away.
On last Monday. They may or may not have subsided.
If you're going downtown tonight, you'll probably be okay.
Let us know in the comments. If you're people in Chengdu, maybe you watch this. Let us know in the comments how it's going.
Are you wearing shoes?
Did your motorbike battery get flooded? Apparently that's a big problem in the floods. Don't buy a secondhand motor. Here's some real advice. Don't buy a secondhand motorbike after a flood, because it means the battery got put underwater and it's gonna crap out on you.
That's hot.
Yeah, hot off the juices. That's local news. All right, for entertainment, I have 2 items. One is just a recommendation. I'm stealing from every podcast we listen to. So, what are you listening to or watching this week? And my recommendation is I just started listening to The Adventure Zone, which is a D&D adventure game style. It's not Dungeons and Dragons, but it's a game like that. Played by the McElroy brothers of My Brother, and Me, and their dad, who is also, he's a West Virginia radio personality, and he's very funny as well. It's a weird reason I happen to download this, because I have always been like a Dungeons and Dragons wannabe, but no one ever invited me to play their game. And in fact, in my 20s, I was actively told girls aren't allowed in our game. So thanks, jerks.
We used to call you the sad paladin.
Yeah. I'm chaotic neutral! But I always wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons, and no one would let me play. But you and I, Peter is not going to play Dungeons and Dragons with me, even if I made him.
Freaking nerd.
Yeah, you're a nerd too, but just in a different way. But, so we've been listening to Harmontown, which is TV writer and all-around drunk guy. He has a weekly podcast at which the end they have an ongoing Dungeons and Dragons game. And he and his friends are very funny people, so it's very funny to listen to. At first I was like, I want to listen to other people play, but now it's my favorite part of the show. But it's a shorter and shorter segment, I think because they have a TV deal that they play Dungeons and Dragons for a TV show, so they're not allowed to play it.
It's a good TV show.
It's a fun TV show, Harmon Quest, if any of this sounds at all interesting to you.
Animated.
Yeah, but this is not my recommendation. So I was feeling like I wasn't getting enough of what I wanted. Their games are too short. Or not, like, the game is not, it's like a year they've been playing this one game. The segments are too short. But I am also a My Brother and Me listener, Mabimbam, which is advice for the modern era, as they say. They're hilarious. I think they're so funny. And they keep mentioning that they're playing this game, so I downloaded it this week. They're not as madcap as Harmon and his friends, but they are very funny, and they have a good rapport with one another, and their dad is also very, very funny. So, the Adventure Zone podcast, I suggest you check it out. That's my entertainment pick of the week. I'll have to think of a more clever name for this segment.
The Whiz Bang Listening Hour?
The Whiz Bang Listening Hour. Well, it might not always be listening.
It might not be an hour.
It's not an hour. Might be a book.
Ear tickles?
Yeah, something. Tickles. Our tickles of the week.
Mind vittles?
And who knows? Next week, this segment might not come back. But I did have something to recommend this week.
Fish streaks.
And so I recommend to you. Also, Mabimbam, if you don't listen to that already, too. Peter, do you have anything to recommend? Anything cool?
Did I listen to anything?
What about Spooky
Reuben?
Spooky Reuben.
Become a Spooky Reuben fan from Canada.
Yeah, I like that
cool.
a lot, too. He's a musician.
Musician and a filmmaker, sort of.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
Little films. He's on YouTube, Spooky Reuben. If you hear the spooky, hello.
Is it like the films he makes are his music videos, or
sort of.
as a separate piece?
Little goofy set pieces, like old timey, wacky spaghetti western.
Mm-hmm. Are the songs actually from the 90s, or he just sounds super 90s?
I think it started in the 90s.
Okay.
As best I can tell, but he's still around now.
But it's really catchy, power pop. A lot of moaning about a girl, but still pretty fun.
That's power pop.
That's power pop. I took over your recommendation. Anything else you want to say about SR?
I've been listening to another YouTuber, Restless Nomad. He's somewhere outside of Beijing, and he's got his cell phone, and he walks back and forth to the grocery store where he picks up chicken and then takes it home and cooks it. If you're into that,
that's his channel.
Yep. Nomad. Been listening.
Restless.
While I edit, it's good to edit too.
What makes it good to edit to?
Soothing.
He talks. He has like a stream of consciousness narrative while he walks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He talks about chickens.
He talks about chickens. I like to think about chickens.
There's a little bit of chicken.
Not actually.
A little bit of chicken goes into all of our videos.
I like to eat chicken. I wouldn't like to think about chickens that much.
Well, they're not thinking about you.
They're not thinking about anything.
Except maybe becoming your dinner.
I don't think that's their choice.
What about other subscriber news?
Oh, did we get 2?
37? I don't remember what we were at last Saturday.
I don't either, but I think we got 2 subscribers this week. 2 in one day.
Yeah.
Which was very exciting.
Totaling at 37, and we're not even supposed to be here today.
Yeah, so that actually is a big deal. Other milestones, just all of a sudden, a bunch of our videos crossed the 50 views mark.
That's viral for us.
That's viral. That's on fire for us. So it was exciting. I mean, more of that was happening last week after Countryside.
Well, we've just started to punch up all of our social media stuff.
Yeah, we've joined some Facebook
programs.
groups. Networking with other YouTube creators. Hello, if you're watching. Hello.
We're begging. We're hitting the streets. Handing out flyers.
We kind of put some polish on our channel landing page. Doing a lot of maintenance. Tweaking.
Cross platforms.
Yeah.
Other words.
Other paradigms.
Paradigms.
Yeah. But so our channel's healthy. We're still having fun, so
we're just living away.
That's what matters. But my other entertainment tidbit.
San Diego Comic-Con?
No, Steely Dan.
Oh. San Diego Steely Dan Comic-Con?
Yeah, I woke up last Sunday night, I think.
In a steely mood.
In a steely mood, to tell Peter that we needed to talk about Steely Dan on our next live stream.
Riveted Peter's eyes.
So prepare yourself. So I don't know, in my craziness of increasingly disconnecting from my home country and teaching insane babies, I cycle back and forth between listening exclusively to Elvis Costello's Brodsky Quartet album and just all the works of Steely Dan.
All of them.
All of them.
There's 3.
Yeah, I just put them all on. Listen to Deacon Blues on a loop. And this week started as a Steely Dan week. Now it's an Elvis week, but I'm doing fine. I have no room for other music. But so I was listening to Steely Dan earlier this week. And I don't know how I didn't ever hear this song before, but do you know the song Barrytown? That's the one that I was singing right before we went live.
The one that sounds that
I know.
I need to find out what that connection is between that and Colin Moulding's Standing In For Joe. It's the same song.
It is a very similar tune. But I knew it from the Ben Folds cover. Mm-hmm. I didn't know. This must have come to me when the internet was still a free-for-all in terms of, like, there's music. Here's some music.
Cavalcade.
Yeah, so Ben Folds covered Barrytown, and that's what I thought. I thought it was a Ben Folds song, which at the time, if I am remembering right, it doesn't sound like a typical Ben Folds song, because the lyrics are all delivered to a U from an I, and more often he like no, he makes up a character and delivers a story from that character's point of view or about that character. So it's not a typical Ben Folds song because it's not a Ben Folds song. I just found out this was a Steely Dan song about the Moonies who lived in Barrytown.
The Moonies?
The Unification Church, that cult.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah.
Hot button.
Hot button. Right on the pulse. Because they went to Bard College, which was a town over, I guess, from Barrytown. I looked up all this. This is all, like, Wikipedia facts for you.
It wasn't all sitting in your head?
It was, like, a really interesting thread. And then I was like, well, why did Ben Folds cover it? He covered it for the 2011 classic. 2011? That seems late. I don't know when this movie was made. Me, Myself, and Irene by the Farrelly brothers. And they had like a whole bunch of people cover Steely Dan for the soundtrack. Which, because I also had heard the Wilco Any Major Dude. I guess I never knew. Because who saw Me, Myself, and Irene? Leave a message in the comments.
I think I did.
But the whole thing was like they wanted to have a lot of Steely Dan on the soundtrack, and they wanted to have people do covers. Which
it turned out to be all Steely Dan?
It wasn't all Steely Dan, but it was like 7 Steely Dan songs.
I wonder how that happened.
Like
7, that's it.
I wonder too. Well, and apparently the Dan did not appreciate the Smash Mouth cover. So there was some...
Was that the other Ben? Ben Stiller? Ben Stiller 5?
No. It's Jim Carrey is in that one. But we're getting to it. The one that you're thinking of, Something About Mary. The Farrellys love the right music because they had what's his name? Jonathan Richman was actually in that movie, I think. And
yeah, he was.
And
that's the best part of that movie.
Yeah, let's save that movie. But they, according to Entertainment Weekly, an Entertainment Weekly article from a decade or more ago, I think and remembering from a furious Googling on Monday night, I think they approached Peter Farrelly about covering Steely Dan, and then he said he didn't want to.
He didn't like being approached.
Well, he was in their first movie.
No one likes being approached.
I saw him at the Knitting Factory, Richmond. It was a good show.
What else? Other movies include.
No, so that's the Steely Dan story I wanted to tell you.
That's it?
Yeah, but I like the song Barrytown because it has the lyrics. I know you want some company, but I'm standing by myself. Go stand with someone else.
Standing in for Joe.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of standing.
Yeah, there's got to be.
YouTubers, look into this.
YouTube.
If you guys know
STDs?
If you guys know anyone...
If anyone has STDs,
don't tell us. If you guys know XTC or Steely Dan, we'll send a papple to whoever can get some answers on.
There's a big critic thing.
Standing in for Joe versus Barrytown, if there's any connection.
People always want to say that they're the American and British doppelgangers of each other.
Steely Dan and XTC?
Yeah. My guess is from all those augmented in 9th and 7th
I guess
chords,
they're into like nerd.
Yeah.
And XTC went pretty studio heavy.
Yeah,
they didn't like touring.
That too. But the actual music itself, I don't hear it.
No,
Except for that one song that sounds exactly the same.
But
what is this mystery?
The way I think Walter Becker sings it, and the way he sings it is very snide.
Snidely Dan?
Where I feel like Standing In For Joe is a little more sly. But yeah, maybe there's a connection. This is a heretofore unplanned audio mystery.
Call Anthony Antano.
Don't. We're not getting involved with that. But yeah, so that's my Steely Dan story for this week.
Is that the only Steely Dan? There isn't more?
I can think of more.
What are you sitting on?
I mean, just what we talked about. We talked a lot about Steely. We talk about Steely Dan a lot. I think even since before we were dating, we talked
just
about
separately in corners before we knew each other.
No, together, you and I, because that's when I worked for the newspaper. I was the music critic, and we had a music blog, and the paper it still exists, AM New York, like AM in the morning. So I called the music blog AM FM, no static at all, which I don't think many people caught was a Steely Dan reference, except for Simon, the web designer who designed my page for me. He was like, nice.
Hashtag Steely fan.
Yeah. So that's my history.
That's great.
With Steely Dan.
Got any Billy Joel news?
No Billy Joel news.
Anybody else from New York?
Billy Joel is from Long Island.
No.
The Dan is from upstate. I mean, it's not really upstate, but if you're from Long Island, it's upstate.
Got a lot of street battles between those two locations.
Yeah.
As a Long Islander.
They make fun of our accent. We say north of the city.
So if you went back home, when you go back home,
yeah,
and people have heard this, are your Long Island friends going to like?
No, there's not actually a rivalry.
Could you make one?
I'm not interested in that, especially where I'm from so far out east.
That's racist. China.
I mean, on Long Island. It's like in the middle of nowhere. Who would we start a rivalry with?
Fish.
The duck farms?
Oysters.
Yeah, the oysters are all dead. Billy Joel sang about that in the 1989.
I thought there was some kind of big, in the last couple of years, movement to save all the oysters that were getting all sanded out on the barrier.
Oh, maybe. Yes, probably. But I think what you're referring to is the project to clean up the bay to use oysters as filters.
Oh, we're gonna build an oyster wall.
Yeah, which I don't think you can then eat these oysters. I hope not. But they put in these oysters to filter out some pollutant, I think, or maybe the red tide has really been a problem since I was a kid. Which is, do you know what red tide is?
I think we saw it.
It's like it's algae.
Didn't
I'm forgetting
Aaron show us on his boat when we came in the.
Yeah.
Aaron news.
Yeah, Aaron news. Hello, Aaron, if you're watching. Yeah, and it was his project. He was involved with that, the oyster project.
I remember something about it.
Yeah, and we were gonna
save an oyster.
Go to the opening, but I think my family had an event or something. I don't.
You're not there. Oysters, doing fine.
Oysters.
Billy Joel. Okay.
Oysters are fine. No, his song was about oystermen overfishing and commercial oystermen driving out the local
Billy Oysterman.
Billy Oysterman. Yeah. Which is probably still a problem.
Billy Joel.
Overfishing.
Oh. I would say Billy Joel's still a problem.
Billy Joel is still. Billy Joel is still.
At large.
That's all I'm gonna say. I think he just performed like his 100th concert at Madison Square Garden or something.
Yeah.
Some. That sounds absurd.
That only 100? Or
100?
100.
I don't know.
The lot are small. I thought he like played there every night.
No,
Since like
it's
1978.
It's just like Wednesdays and Saturday matinees.
the piano man into a very large room.
Now I have no idea. Is 100 concerts a lot or a little?
I think it's probably a lot.
I mean, in one venue.
I mean,
He's been performing since he was like...
Well...
It's like for 50 years.
Just by odds. No, but he like plays there like on a regular basis or something, right?
Oh yeah, he does have some kind of like...
He's like a Celine
I
Dion.
don't think you can call it a resident. I guess you can call it a
Manhattan
residency.
Celine Dion.
He's the Manhattan Celine Dion. Okay.
Hashtag.
Hashtag. Well, we're coming up on an hour. So that was good.
Yes. Oh, great.
I feel like we've hit all the hot spots,
All
the
the
hot
itches.
topics,
We itched all the scratches.
the important news. Now I have an itch on my leg. Thank you for that. I don't know. What do we wrap it up with?
Wrap it up. I'll take it.
Okay. That's it. We'll see you probably next week. We've got more videos coming. It's a hot one. And
Oh, it's Cicada Jones. It's gonna be in it.
yeah, starring Cicada Jones and me. Ta-da. And
Noodles to you.
noodles to you. Have a good weekend.
Good night.
Good night, Gracie.